I want you to show this to your MAGA friends and family. These are facts. I'm not making any of this up. These are all facts. It's very easy to research. A guy named Paul Manafort was Donald Trump's first campaign advisor. Right before working for Donald Trump, he worked for Viktor Yanukovych, who was elected as president of Ukraine. Viktor Yanukovych was supremely corrupt. He was centralizing power in Ukraine. He was stealing from the Ukrainian people. He was spending stupid amounts of money on lavish nonsense. And it became very obvious that he was a Russian asset. When it became obvious to the people of Ukraine, they ran him out of office. He literally fled the country. He physically fled. Guess where he fled to? Russia. Because he was a Russian asset. That's where he still lives today. Unfortunately, he's still alive. Okay? Paul Manafort was his campaign lead. Paul Manafort's very next job, his very next job, not 1,000 years later, a year later, too. His very next job was working for Donald Trump as his campaign lead. And he took the job for $0.00. Even though he owed, at the time, $60 million to Oleg Deripaska, one of the most sinister Russian oligarchs to ever live, a close friend of Vladimir Putin. If you think that's a coincidence, you're one of the dumbest people alive. Donald Trump has been laundering money for Russian criminals. And let me tell you this, there is no separation between Russian criminal oligarchs and the Kremlin. None. When I say Russian criminals, I mean the most powerful people in Russia. Donald Trump has been laundering money for them since the 80s. It's a fact. The CIA and FBI both investigated it as far back as the 80s. There's documentaries, there's books, there's podcasts, there's magazine articles. It's not the deep state unless you think the deep state has just been investigating him his whole damn life. This is all fact. I've spent probably 1,000 hours researching this stuff. So unless you've spent 1,000 hours researching it, you don't know more than me. You don't. But if you want to pretend that you do, I'd be happy to debate you on a recorded Zoom call so you can show me how smart you are. I have spent an insane amount of time researching this stuff. Donald Trump is a Russian asset, period. Okay? Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Love your country enough to actually learn some information for the first time in your life. This whole thing with Ukraine, this is not a difference in political opinion. This is not a political disagreement. Okay? This is not an agree to disagree situation. We gave them our word as a country. In 1994, if you get rid of your nuclear weapons, we will protect you. We will keep you safe. You will be our ally. We gave them our word, Billy Bob. Do you understand what that means? I know you guys don't have any integrity or character left. You've shown that by supporting a Russian asset who's also a rapist and a pedophile and a con man and a felon. I know you don't have any integrity, but pretend you do, and pretend your word means something. Pretend the word of your country means something. We gave them our word, not just once. We doubled down on it multiple times. Kind of like you renewed your vows in Myrtle Beach and then you shotgunned a Busch Light. It's kind of like that. We renewed our vow to them, to protect them, to be their ally, to be their military might. This is not a difference of opinion. This is treason. This is treason against our ally. This recent UN vote was Donald Trump voting against every democracy on earth. Remember democracy? It's the cornerstone of this country. Do you idiots remember that? It's the major part of the country you pretend you love. Your cult leader voted against our ally that we swore to protect and against every democracy on planet Earth. He sided with Russia and Iran and North Korea. Is that who you like, Billy Bob? You like North Korea and Iran instead of France and England and Canada? Do you think that makes you a patriot? What are you going to do next? Kick a bald eagle in the dick? It's the most anti-American thing that's ever happened in your lifetime, and you're just too stupid to understand because you have a childlike grasp. You don't even have a childlike grasp. You don't have a grasp at all. All you consume is Russian disinformation funneled into your thick, empty skull by people who are only slightly less stupid than you are. Sissies, pencil-armed, doughy sissies like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes. Soft-handed country club fascist sissies. And you think you're some dirty blue-collar tough guy and you're going to get all your information from these soft-handed sissies? Because it's pitiful, man. It just makes you look like a pussy. That's what it does. This is not a difference in political opinion. This is the American government breaking their word, abandoning an ally in favor of a murderous dictator, the most sinister murderous dictator on planet Earth right now, who helped Assad kill 500,000 of his own people in Syria. He's killed around 1 million people in Ukraine. They found graves in Bucha with 458 civilians in a mass grave, many of them burned, many of their hands tied, many of them shot in the head. Women, children, unarmed men, not fighters, civilians. They killed 88% of the people in a town called Sumi. All of this information was given to me by somebody that was working for the International Criminal Court to prosecute Vladimir Putin for war crimes. And Donald Trump told every American working on this right here that if they kept working on it, they would be sanctioned. Financial sanctions, not allowed to be in the country. Financial sanctions that would prevent them from getting a home. He's not just refusing aid. He has now cut off all aid to Ukraine, all of it. But he didn't just cut off the aid, he's cut off all the intelligence. And they are just being bombed mercilessly. Russia has kidnapped an estimated 30,000 children, taken from their parents, from their families, taken to Russia and rehomed. Their names changed, told they'll never go back to Ukraine. That's your old life. Your new life is Russian. You're Russian now. This is your new name. Do you have children? What if Canada came and took them? And the country that vowed to protect you if you got rid of your nuclear weapons said, fuck you, you're on your own. Do you hear that, MAGA? Do you hear my words? Do you hear the cowardice? The cowardice, the bootlicking, the treason, tyranny. I want you to imagine they came and took your kids. And the superpower that told you that they were going to protect your country did nothing. Stopped all aid, stopped all intelligence, and started sucking the dick of the dictator that was killing your children, raping your women, killing your civilians, destroying your towns. They got you mad at democracy. That's how stupid you are. They got you cheering for North Korea and Iran and Russia, and they've got you going against democracy. Do you know how stupid that is? Do you know how stupid you are? This is not a difference in opinion. This is a broken promise. The first one of this magnitude ever in the history of this country. This is the end of America being the oldest democracy on earth. We are no longer siding with the other democracies. We are siding with a murderous dictator who, by the way, isn't as strong as you think he is. He's lost a ton of men. He's having to borrow soldiers from North Korea because he doesn't have enough men to fight. Over 700,000 able-bodied Russians have left Russia because they don't want to fight in his bullshit war. He is a small and weak man, a little man in stature and character. Vladimir Putin is a piece of shit. He's a coward and a pussy like Donald Trump. That's why they like each other, because they're both pieces of shit, because weak men have to act strong. And it's a fucking act. And you're falling for it because you're weak too. You're not a patriot. You're not a Christian. You don't give a fuck about children. Stop pretending those things. Stop pretending, or we're going to start calling it to your fucking face like you deserve. And this Brian Glenn clown, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, this fat-faced redneck, to go into the Oval Office and ask Zelensky why he's not wearing a suit? Because his country's at war, you stupid redneck. You dirt road piece of trash. That's why. Winston Churchill didn't wear a suit when he visited the United States during World War II either. It's real common. You don't know that because you're fucking stupid. Because you're a white trash simpleton clown and you're devastatingly irrelevant. And as soon as this very brief break from obscurity blows over, you'll get back to being devastatingly irrelevant. You fat-faced redneck cigarette alcoholic clown. You look like you drink salt water. You're so fucking inflamed. Eat a salad, you piece of shit. I haven't seen anybody look like that much of an old redneck man since last time I looked at Marjorie Taylor Greene herself. The only person that looks rougher than you is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She looks like a fucking snake in a wagon rut. You two deserve each other, you piece of shit. I'm going to be in D.C. March 14th, 15th, and 16th, and I'm going to dress like Vladimir Zelensky, and I want you to come ask me what I'm wearing, Brian Glenn. Come say some shit like that to my face, because I don't have any fucking decorum to uphold. You people are pussies and cowards and traitors and bootlickers and simpletons. You are traitors to this country. Join me in D.C. March 14th, 15th, and 16th, and let's fight these fucking fascist clowns. Long live Ukraine.